Hello and welcome. I'm Amritanshu Rai and you're watching Law of the Land on Rajya Sabha TV. Today we bring to you the Homeopathy Central Council Amendment Bill 2015. To discuss the issue, I have with me Dr. Neeraj Pasricha, Secretary General, Homeopathic Medical Association of India, Dr. S.M. Desarda, Principal, DKMM Homeopathic Medical College, Aurangabad, and Mr. Ambar Barlota, Advocate, High Court, Aurangabad. Now for the headlines. The Homeopathy Central Council Amendment Bill 2015 seeks to empower government to disallow admissions in homeopathic colleges that do not conform to standards. Homeopathy colleges will have to seek prior government permission for admissions of new batch in any course of training. Parliamentary Standing Committee wants the government to act against colleges that violate norms. The Homeopathy Central Council Amendment Bill seeks to empower the central government to disallow admissions in homeopathic medical colleges which do not conform to standards. This is to ensure better quality of homeopathy education leading to better healthcare through homeopathy system of medicine.
Once the Homeopathy Central Council Amendment Bill is approved by Parliament, it will empower the central government to stop admissions in colleges which do not conform to the benchmarks specified in the regulations of Homeopathy Central Council law.
More or less, if the government is taking this particular action, I understand there must be some reasons behind this, and there may have been some lacunae under which people might have taken some advantage. If the government feels like this, they must be scrubbing those loopholes, and they will take in a time-bound manner so that there may not be any delay in between the CCH and government decisions to be conveyed to the respective institutions.
According to the Homeopathy Central Council Amendment Bill 2015, homeopathy medical colleges will have to take prior permission from central government for admissions of new batch in any course of study or training. Permission from government for admission will be compulsory for postgraduate training. Permission obtained from central government will be valid for 5 years.
In the Parent Act, it was found that though there is a provision under Section 19 for the withdrawal of recognition from a medical college, but there was no provision of simultaneously stopping admission in those colleges. As a result, it was noticed that once we take a decision about the poor quality of education being imparted in a medical institution, it was difficult to stop admission. So wherever it was stopped, courts struck down that admission.
The Homeopathy Central Council Act 1973 was amended in the year 2002 to check growth of substandard colleges, increase in admission capacity, and starting of new course in such colleges. The permission of the central government is mandatory for establishing new colleges or starting new courses of study. The existing provision in the Homeopathy Central Council Act is, however, not enabling the central government to stop admissions in colleges which are not conforming to the standards specified in the regulations made under the said Act. Due to this, quality of homeopathy education is being compromised. Experts believe that amendments in the bill are a good step, as these amendments will ensure better quality of homeopathy education. The Homeopathy Central Council Amendment Bill was introduced in the Rajya Sabha on 6th of May 2015.
The Homeopathy Bill 2015 seeks to overcome the shortcomings of the Homeopathy Central Council Act by amending the Act. The Act was amended to curb the growth of substandard homeopathic colleges and to improve the quality of education of homeopathic studies. With cameraman Vijay Kumar, Dipali Pandit for Rajya Sabha Television.
The issue of substandard and mushrooming educational institutions is rampant across all the streams, including homeopathy. Now, so the question is, disallowing or seeking permission for admission, is it really required? If you forget the litigation that has happened in the past,
Right.
just on that point, as a regulatory framework for future systems, where the government takes into its hands the power to not only disallow, but also stop permission, or stop admission of students, etc., etc. Yeah.
See, I totally agree that there should be some provision to regulate the unchecked proliferation of the substandard institutions. But the way the act is being brought, in my opinion, see, the provision is already there in section 19. And what we request the government is to empower that and amend that act to bring quality education so that they can curb and check the proliferation of these substandard colleges. Second point, then I would suggest कि इसमें जो भी हमारा अभी चल रहा है, अभी तक see the Central Council for Homeopathy has closed down 6 colleges.
Correct.
We recommend to the Department of Ayush, which recommends to the state government.
And it is closed.
And it is closed in 90 days' time. The provision is already there, right? But as you said, seeking permission every time, every year is not practically possible. It's a very lengthy process. We do not have those inspectors. The number of inspectors is very low. And it is not practically possible to visit each and every institution every year to assess the infrastructure, the availability of the qualified teachers, the libraries. It is not practically possible.
And they have not said how they are going to ensure implementation or empower you by giving you resources. They have not said something.
The resources have not been utilized. Imagine 47% of the total allocated budget last year was not utilized at all. Why is that so?
Okay, that's another issue. Why do you think it was somewhere or the other, you went to court and the permission for admission or admission was struck down by the High Court. Now, why do you think the government wants to police admission process? Why do you think that is necessary? Because somewhere or the other there is this issue of substandard colleges or not meeting standards or not being able to meet up to the quality part. Is that a real concern or not?
Not. There is a dispute in between Central Council of Homeopathy is working and the Department of Ayush Ministry. Nowadays ministry, previously it was a department. Technically, Central Council of Homeopathy is the proper technical resource or body to take the assessment of the whole country's homeopathy colleges and their infrastructure. Act is made for the Central Council of Homeopathy and Act is not made for the Department of Ayush working. What happened from the last 10 years? Bureaucrat officers, they want to rule on the Central Council of Homeopathy. And they think that they have some power to control the admissions of the homeopathic medical colleges. At this moment, there is no provision of the closure of the colleges in this act. But what happened from the 2011, 12, 12, 13, 13, 14 and 14, 15? Every time central government gives some chances to the homeopathic medical colleges and call the information through Central Council of Homeopathy in their standard information form. But there are some lacunas and from last 5 years, they want to amend the bill. But from the last 5 years, every year they issue the amnesty. जीवदया आज ठीक है ये साल तो हमने आपको देख लिया है ये साल फिर amnesty दे देते हैं. This is a struggle in between the.
What's the lacuna?
What is the lacuna? Lacuna देखो कोई इंस्टीट्यूट सुप्रीम कोर्ट हो, हाई कोर्ट हो, गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया हो, सुप्रीम कोर्ट में भी पूरे जजेस नहीं है, हाई कोर्ट में भी पूरे जजेस नहीं है.
इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर इज द लैक्यूना आपके मुताबिक, बट लॉ में क्या लैक्यूना है?
लैक्यूना they think that law is a lacuna that central government has not power to close down any college, or central government has not power to stop the every year's admissions of the college.
If that the government doesn't empower itself, then it will not be able to act against substandard colleges.
There are many provisions in this existing Act. As my sir has already explained, remedial measure 19 is sufficient. Why you are not using the 19?
What does 19 say?
Section 19 says that if there is some lacuna in the infrastructure, in relation with the teachers, in relation with the instrument, in relation with the patients and the clinical material available, then at that time, Central Council take the inspection and inform Central Council of Homeopathy to the Government of India that this is the college.
Can be closed down.
This is the college, and you take the proper remedial measure to close down this college.
Ambar,
sir,
is that how it is written? And why does the government want to empower itself by stopping admissions or wanting the colleges to seek permission for admission? What is the reason? Why? Explain that.
As far as this bill is concerned, I would like to point out one thing. The central government here is trying to stop the admission process, rather to curb the admissions of the institutions which are not up to the benchmark. But everyone is overlooking the fact that there is a provision under section 19 for derecognition. Not only 19, but there is a provision under the amendment which has taken place in 2002 under section 12B, which says that if a previous permission is not there to an institute, even in that scenario, the recognition can be withdrawn. But
exactly. If it's a substandard college and you allow admissions to happen, at the same time you delay the process of recommendation of closure, which takes 6 months, what happens to the students? They're already taken for a ride.
Yes, but even in that scenario,
shouldn't the government stop admission if the students are being taken for a ride for admission, stopping admission in substandard college? Sir.
See, my take on this would be different. Why not stop the admissions there and then, the moment it is suggested by the CCH to the Ministry of Ayush that this college needs to be de-recognized from now onwards.
Correct.
From now onwards.
Or stall admissions the moment recommendation made.
Yes.
Okay, that's
right.
where the lacuna is.
Yes.
Correct?
Absolutely.
Is that correct, sir?
Yes, correct. And there are so many other regulatory authorities. University is there, state government is there. University, in fact, every year colleges and university issues the appellation after only on the recommendation of the central government. Then why you are not approaching to the universities? Why you take all the powers with you and you want to close the college?
Correct. Time for us to enter into a short break. Coming up, the Parliamentary Standing Committee wants the government to act against those institutions who are violating the norms. Welcome back. The Parliamentary Standing Committee on Health and Family Welfare wants the government to empower Homeopathy Council to act against colleges that violate norms. The committee has recommended that the Homeopathic Central Council Amendment Bill be passed at the earliest to make homeopathy colleges accountable.
The Standing Committee on Health and Family Welfare feels that the homeopathy college managements are taking advantages of the loopholes in the existing Homeopathy Central Council law by increasing the number of seats. Committee has said that the proposed Homeopathy Central Council Amendment Bill can prove to be deterrent if Homeopathy Central Council is empowered like the Medical Council of India or All India Council for Technical Education.
It will be important for the student to know that admission in this college has been stopped. And new admissions will not take place when that section 19 will be in the process of being operational. So this will help student also. Later on they may not suffer after taking admission in a college that is likely to be de-recognized. The qualification of the college likely to be recognized in next 2 to 3 years.
The committee has asked the government to restrict itself to disqualifying medical students at entry-level batches. The government should not disqualify all the batches in case the college fails to get permission for new admissions. The report says that the clause in the proposed bill is misleading. The parliamentary panel recommends for a transparent mechanism so that minor technical and procedural defaults by colleges are not made a basis for harassment by Central Council. The committee has asked the government to make provisions for a credible appeal mechanism for homeopathy colleges to address their genuine grievances. According to the committee's report, Homeopathy Central Council monitors more than 190 homeopathy colleges spread across 22 states. 13,673 students are pursuing homeopathy from 147 undergraduate and 42 postgraduate colleges. Homeopathy Central Council is the nodal agency to authorize all colleges to invite admissions.
We know that there are many private colleges coming in the homeopathic field, and there is no regularization. So these amendments are very important. And regarding the research and for faculty continuing faculty training also, there are no such facilities for homeopathic doctors.
The Parliamentary Standing Committee considered the views of both Ministry of Ayush and the Legislative Department and concluded that amendments will be brought up when the bill is discussed in the Parliament. The Homeopathy Central Council Amendment Bill 2015 was introduced in the Rajya Sabha and referred to the department-related Parliamentary Standing Committee on Health and Family Welfare for examination.
According to the amendment bill, the central government is given powers to grant permission to open new homeopathic colleges, open new courses, or to increase the number of seats. Experts believe that it is a good step and would give rise to the better standard of education in homeopathic studies. The Parliamentary Standing Committee is of the view that the bill should be considered in the Parliament and should be passed without any further delay. With cameraman Vijay Kumar, Dipali Pandit for Rajya Sabha Television.
The Standing Committee, the Parliamentary Standing Committee, doesn't want the students to get impacted. They want the institution to take the burden of defaulting on benchmarks. That's the basic recommendation of the Standing Committee. Now, the question to you, sir, is if the admissions at entry level, moment a report of substandard or a college being substandard is mentioned, if the government doesn't have power to stop admissions, how is it going to stop? How is because the process of closing down the college will take 6 to 7 months.
Agreed.
Correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And if admissions can't be stopped at the entry level, the college still has about 4 to 5 months to admit students. And the students do not know that this is the college that is going to close down.
Or de-recognized.
Or be de-recognized.
Right.
Now, in a situation like this, if the government wants to retain power and police the substandard colleges by empowering itself to stop admissions, where is the problem?
See, the only problem is we are actually with the government on this issue, but not the way it is being done. Right? See, you want to safeguard the interest of the students.
Correct.
Yes, absolutely. We are with the government. But in this case, the thing which we request the government to do is to empower the Central Council for Homeopathy to de-recognize that particular college for that particular year, so that no new admissions are taken, so that the students don't suffer.
So you want the impact or the damage of this entire, 1 year only. That is the impact. Here it is being, there is no outer limit to stalling of admissions.
Yes.
That's where the problem is. So there is an entrepreneur who has made an investment in a college infrastructure and everything. You're basically shutting him down by closing his admissions.
See, closing his admissions for that particular year till he comes up to the level of the standards given by the CCH.
Correct. The council.
Yes, the council. That is the most important factor.
Now, this is the point that I want to bring to you, sir. At one point, there has to be limited impact. For example, a person like you, a doctor like you, who has evolved and has to have colleges, sets up infrastructure. But at some point or the other, the government comes in, there is inspection, the council comes in, there is an inspection, and they discover something not right, okay? So they make a report for derecognition. So it is derecognition for good, or is it derecognition just for 1 year? How does it happen?
Derecognition is a good. If college have not the infrastructure is there, but government and central council both has to start the inspection process in the middle of the December or that, and you complete all inspection process up to the February, and you declare the you can declare the list of the good colleges or admitting colleges in the coming year up to the month of March. But you starting the, and my council is starting the inspection process on the recommendation of the central government in the month of March, and they till on this year till today they have given the permission to admit the student in the month of August, and given blanket permission to all the colleges where infrastructure is there or wherever no infrastructure is there. This is not the way, and so you have only the bill as an instrument to stop this the admission. If you want, if you have already measure is there, आप inspection करो, central council का recommendation लो. Every year central council will be inspecting the colleges, but Department of Ayush not collecting the total and whole reports and only take the a good decision that the amnesty, give the permission to all the colleges.
So I'll bring in Amber. So the problem that has emerged as you see it now is that there is no time frame for inspection.
Right.
One.
Yes.
There is no time frame for admissions. Two, there is no limitation of damage as far as standards are concerned. For example, if the inspector finds a college not proper, then he can just recommend for closure only, but he can't limit the damage of 1 year. Is that so?
Yes, one could say that that could happen. But see, it's a procedure part. Eventually, it lies with the central government whether to recommend the state government to look into the matter and then file a report or directly close it down. It is with the central government, and that is what Section 19 prescribes.
And the central government doesn't want to take the risk of unilaterally closing down colleges?
Maybe so. Maybe so. But
so see, they will lean on this council to advise them, correct?
Absolutely.
So basically, it's all timeline and students. Basically, changes need to be made.
Right.
But the damage has to be limited to 1 year.
It has to be 1 year to keep the interest of the students in mind.
In mind. Correct.
That is the most important fact. Plus, I have another take.
Yeah.
Why a stepmotherly fashion between the government colleges and the private colleges? See, out of 32 government colleges, will you believe only one conforms to the standards set by the government itself? Only one. Rest, they are not up to the basic minimum standards.
And they are all given amnesty.
Yeah,
yes.
Only for that they are given the amnesty.
And here the private sector is immediately closed down.
And they are colleging the private colleges, and government, central government's own college, Central Council of National Institute of Homeopathy, Calcutta, where mostly 35% infrastructure is there. And to sec the college, to save this college, central government year and year, issuing the amnesty.
Okay. So that's the second part. That's all we have time, sir. Moving on, my colleague Deepali Pandit spoke to Dr. Surendra Verma, Principal, Nehru Homeopathic Medical College and Hospital, to get his point of view.
Sir, how would taking permission from central government prior admission affect the functioning of colleges?
This amendment 2015 appears to be justified, and it has, in my personal opinion, it has a long-term gain. By taking prior permission from the central government, it will ensure the strict compliance of the minimum standard of the education.
Sir, do you think this will curb the growth of substandard colleges?
Yes, definitely. The substandard college, it will stop the substandard college because the education cannot be compromised, as well as it will make the accountability of the homeopathic institution to maintain the minimum standard of education to fulfill the criteria of permission from the central government.
Thank you, sirs, for joining us on this discussion. It's time for us to end the show. You can email your suggestions and comments to law.rstv@gmail.com. You can also watch our shows on the RSTV page of YouTube. We'll be back with a new issue and a new episode. Keep watching Raj Sabha TV.